This will be the last video in my small trilogy of videos going over my Apple Music replay playlists. And I said in the first video why I did this, I just thought it'd be fun to go through this because I had Apple Music for years, and then I recently just got back on it again after a bit of a break from it. And I thought it was cool to just kind of look back and see what the playlists I created from those years, see what I was listening to the most, streaming the most those years. And we've reached 2020. Skipped over 2019 again because it kind of was just not as interesting, I guess. Wasn't a lot of the stuff was matching up from the 2018 year as well. But just wanted to go ahead and do this video. I thought it was fun. Fun doing these quick little videos, going through stuff that I used to listen to. It's kind of fun looking back. And yeah, 2020 was a very interesting year for everybody, as we well know. But found some interesting music this year, and got into certain types of music this year. And I've got my handy dandy laptop here with me, and want to go through these slides just like I have in the other ones. And put this first slide up here on the side. All Joy Division. Doesn't surprise me. Remember early that year, like probably end of 2019, early 2020, I finally got into Joy Division. I don't know why. I'd never really been into them too much before. I remember what kind of turned me on to them. I was actually watching a What's in My Bag video by Kim Gordon's on the Amoeba Music YouTube channel, and she talked about Unknown Pleasures, and it was the 40th anniversary edition she had picked up at the store, and they played the song Inner Zone in the background. I was like, oh, wait a second, I recognize this song. And I remember it being in the video game Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, or Tony Hawk's Project 8, which is a game I played a ton when I was a kid. And I was like, oh wow, like I didn't realize that was this band. And yeah, but I got really hooked on them after that, and going into like that end of that year, and then early that next into 2020. Definitely remember listening to this a lot when I was doing a painting project for work at that time. And you can see at the bottom here, the album Closer creeps in there a little bit too. I was listening to both of those albums quite a lot. I'm going to pull up the second slide here, and you can see more Joy Division, Closer, the Closer album. And then we can see at the bottom here, I was listening to Roxy music a lot. This album in particular, I think mostly what got me interested in that in the first place was I thought the album cover was sexy, honestly. And but then I the music was kind of pulling me in more for some reason. Like I kept listening to it, and it's like this glam rock, and I guess like Brian Eno was in with the band early on, and I've been really into David Bowie and stuff around that time as well, which I was listening to a lot later in the year, on vinyl, that is. So it won't be on this list at all, because I wasn't streaming as much, and because this is the year that I actually really started getting into collecting records. And actually Joy Division, their second album Closer, was actually my first album I actually ever bought, I believe. Yeah, I got interested in Roxy music at that time as well. I was interested in a lot of their albums. I don't really ever listen to them anymore. I'd probably go back and listen to them maybe. I'm just not too much into glam rock, especially not right at the moment. But on the next slide, more Roxy music at the top, Joy Division. And then you can see we got Charlie with their Pop 2 album popping up in here a bit. I was definitely listening to Charlie a lot throughout the year. Definitely started a lot at the end of 2019 when her album Charlie released at the end of 2019, and really got hooked on her stuff then. And she's my favorite pop artist of all time. Absolutely love her music. People watch my channel know that, and I mean, I guess people who watch my channel are probably the only ones watching this video to begin with. But yeah, but Pop 2, one of my favorite albums of all time, mixtape technically, but love that album. And you can see we got some Dark Throne crept in here too. I was just listening to Under Funeral Moon a lot at that time as well. Probably earlier in the year of 2020, or maybe the end of the year. I don't know. Probably, yeah. I was just listening to Dark Throne on, and we can see Playboy Cardi mixed in here too. Is when I got into him. Well, actually, I think I got into him in like 2018 or so, 2019 maybe. But I was still listening to him a bit. His self-titled mixtape there. Really got hooked on his stuff, and I still really enjoy his stuff to this day. Honestly, I think he's supposed to be releasing an album this year, possibly. So we'll see if that happens. Next slide. More Charlie, more Dark Throne, more Playboy Cardi, more Roxy music. Same old stuff, really. But Charlie had released that the album How I'm Feeling Now at the beginning of the year, like right around, well, I guess it was probably like spring, probably around this time of year, 4 years ago. And they're like quarantine albums, like really soon after COVID hit, and she made some like remixes of her other songs and just like made a really incredible album. Honestly, I think it was the best album of the year. And I think it's gonna be one that's gonna be looked back on. It's just like really interesting because it's like this quarantine album that really shaped the beginning of the 2020s. Just the COVID lockdown and everything. Really just, I don't know, I just feel like it's gonna be an album that's really looked back at. And it's probably one of the best of the whole decade. It's gonna have the most, like, I don't know, lasting thing. I don't know. I can't think of my words right now, but that's nothing new. But let's go on to the next one. Same old stuff here. Playboy Cardi, self-titled, and more of Charlie's How I'm Feeling Now album that released 2020. Very excited when that released, actually, as I was really into her at the time. Next one, same, still Dark Throne, Under Funeral Moon stuff going on here. And see Charlie's self-titled, or just her Charlie album, her third full album, actual studio album, was right there. Was listening to that as well. I guess this one isn't as interesting as I was thinking, but here's something a little different in this next slide. We've got some Bob Dylan popped in here. I was definitely listening to Bob Dylan a bit. When I was doing that painting project once again earlier in the year, I was listening to Bob Dylan a lot, and I really got into him, especially these two albums. The forget what that one was. It came out in, I guess, '64, and then the Highway 61 revisited album. I was listening to that a lot. Those two albums specifically, I was listening to a lot. Really liked them. Was going with the vibes at the time, I guess. Next slide, we have Tyler the Creator popping in here. I was listening to Igor a lot. Came out in 2019. Really pulled me in. I was listening to that when I was painting a lot too. Really, really great album. People say it's his best. I've liked a lot of his music. I was following him since his early days, Odd Future, since like 2012, 2013. I guess I really got into him. But really, it's just, he's really grown as an artist. It was really cool, interesting to see that, and excited to see what he does next. Yeah, I'll show you the last slide here, but I mean, it's the same old stuff. Just more Bob Dylan, Tyler the Creator, Roxy Music, Charlie. That's kind of, I guess that's what sums up the year. I was mostly streaming stuff earlier in the year, and I wasn't streaming much at all after that because I started collecting records so hard, and was mostly just listening to music in that way. But I still wanted to go over this and kind of like end this like little trilogy here, just show what I was listening to at those times. That was the 2020 was a big transitioning point in my life too, I guess. So it was just different things started changing a bit, and I didn't use that streaming for I guess like 4 years until I started using it again now. It's a whole nother era now. I guess I might do when I do my year-end list of my favorite albums of the year, I might do a video like this for this playlist as well, of the playlist for this year. I most likely will do that because it's just fun to go through it, and I'd really like to see what music pops up on there. I probably would have a good idea, but there's going to be things that kind of slip my mind or something, and it's going to come back like, oh yeah, I was listening to that a lot, and just be interesting to see what I was really listening to the most. But yeah, that does it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and as a I like to end the videos as I always do. Please support my friends here on the side if you can. The links will be in the description. And let me know what you were listening to these years in the year 2020, if you remember. And always like talking about music, see what people are listening to, how it brings you back to those times and what life was like at that time. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.